I found out about her affair through a photo, one that wasn't even meant for me. It was a random Thursday morning, and I was looking for a receipt in our shared cloud folder when I saw it. A picture of my wife, Emily, sitting on a hotel bed, smiling at someone behind the camera. The smile wasn't for me. It was too soft, too private. Her hair was still wet from a shower, her shoulders bare. I didn't need to see anything else. My chest went hollow, like someone had scooped everything out of me in one motion. For a long minute, I just stared. The sound of the coffee maker bubbling behind me felt distant, unreal. I wanted it to be a misunderstanding, maybe a work trip, maybe a bad angle. But deep down, I already knew. You can recognize when the person you love looks at someone else the way they used to look at you. When Emily came home that evening, I couldn't even form words. She greeted me with a quick kiss on the cheek, dropped her purse on the counter, and asked if I wanted Thai or Italian for dinner, like everything was normal. I remember looking at her and thinking how ordinary that moment was, how betrayal doesn't always announce itself with thunder. Sometimes it walks in wearing the same clothes and smile as yesterday. I found something. I finally said. My voice came out quieter than I expected. She froze. Just a flicker. But I saw it. The tiny pause before her mask went back up. What do you mean? A photo, I said. From last month. Hotel room. Her face drained of color. She didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she sat down at the kitchen table, folded her hands, and said, "You weren't supposed to see that." That line, "You weren't supposed to see that," still echoes in my head. Not "I'm sorry," not "it meant nothing," but "you weren't supposed to see that." I think that was the moment something inside me broke. She admitted it was with a co-worker, a guy named Daniel. It had been going on for 3 months. "It just happened," she said, tears spilling down her cheeks. We were both going through things, and I didn't mean for it to become what it did. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just nodded, numb, and went upstairs. That night, I slept on the couch, staring at the ceiling until sunrise. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that smile. For days, I floated through my life like a ghost. I went to work, answered emails, smiled when people asked if I was okay. But at night, the silence became unbearable. I replayed every moment of our marriage, trying to figure out where I'd failed. Had I stopped listening? Had I made her feel unseen? Or was love simply not enough anymore? One evening, about a week later, she sat beside me on the couch, her hands trembling. "I ended it," she said. "I want to fix this, if you'll let me." I wanted to laugh at the word fix. You can't glue something back together when the cracks run through the center of your chest. Still, part of me wanted to believe her. I had loved her for 8 years. You don't just erase that overnight. So I told her I needed time, and I started therapy. Not couples therapy. Just me. I needed to understand why the betrayal hurt so deeply, and why I couldn't stop blaming myself for her choices. My therapist asked me something that stuck. Are you trying to heal, or are you trying to punish? At first, I didn't know the difference. But the longer I sat with that question, the clearer it became. I wanted her to hurt. Not physically, not violently, just emotionally. I wanted her to feel the same sharp ache every time she saw me, to wonder what I was thinking, to question whether she'd lost me forever. So I started pulling away. I stopped initiating conversations. I stopped texting her at work. When she reached for my hand, I didn't move. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, subtle, deliberate. Emotional distance is revenge. And it worked. A month later, I noticed her crying in the kitchen, clutching her phone. I didn't ask why. I didn't comfort her. She looked up at me with those tired eyes and said, "You're not the same person anymore." I just shrugged. "Neither are you." That night, she asked if I was seeing someone else. I wasn't, but I didn't correct her. I just let the question hang in the air between us. She started trying harder, leaving notes on my desk, cooking my favorite meals, asking if I wanted to take a trip together. I could see the fear growing in her, the realization that maybe this time I was the one slipping away. For a while, I thought I'd won, that this quiet revenge, this emotional indifference, was justice. But one night, as I sat alone in the living room, I realized how hollow that victory felt. Hurting her hadn't made me feel better. It hadn't given me peace. I was still trapped in the same pain, only now I was the one keeping it alive. The real turning point came during a therapy session when I admitted, I don't trust her anymore, but I don't trust myself either. My therapist asked what I meant. I keep replaying everything. I said, all the signs I missed. Every late night at work, every unexplained text. I feel stupid for believing her, and I hate that I still love her. He nodded. You can't rebuild trust if you're still trying to prove you were right to lose it. That line stayed with me, because he was right. So I made a choice, not to forget, but to start over with honesty. I told Emily everything. The anger, the distance, the quiet revenge I'd been taking. I told her I wanted to forgive her, but I didn't know how yet. She cried again, but this time it wasn't defensive. It was raw. I don't deserve you, she whispered. Maybe not, I said, but if we're going to try again, we have to rebuild from the ground up. We started small, weekly check-ins, no secrets, no pretending. It wasn't easy. There were nights when I still flinched at her touch, mornings when I woke up and felt the weight of everything she'd done. But slowly, the space between us began to fill with honesty again. Not the old kind, where we hid the cracks, but the kind where we looked at them together and said, this is what we broke. Let's see if we can build something new. It's been a year since that photo. We're not perfect. Some days a memory still sneaks up on me, like when her phone lights up late at night or when I smell a hotel shampoo on her suitcase after a business trip. But we talk about it. We don't bury it. I've learned that growth doesn't always come from happy moments. Sometimes it comes from standing in the wreckage, looking at what's left, and deciding it's still worth saving. The betrayal changed everything, but maybe it also stripped away the illusions we've been living under. And in that strange, painful honesty, we found something real again. Because sometimes the hardest moments aren't the end of love. They're the beginning of understanding it.